Good afternoon, Patriots. This is Bill Zedler, and we're here today with another one of the Zedler Reports. In the studio with me, doing all the little gadgets and everything else like that, is my big man, Josh Finkenbinder. Josh?
Hey, I'm here.
Okay. I thought we'd start off today with a little discussion about what's been going on with the Perry indictment. As you know, Governor Perry was indicted because he had exercised his constitutional authority by line-item vetoing some of the funding that was in the spending bill. Now, when we do the appropriations bill, we have to put it down into certain areas, and so what it boiled down to was, in this particular case, there was $7.5 million going to the Travis County DA's office because for some time now, the Travis County DA has been operating the Public Integrity Unit. They're in charge of investigating corruption on the part of public officials.
When did they start doing that, Bill?
Josh, I couldn't get the exact date, but it's way back in the 80s. But what it boiled down to is, for years, the Public Integrity Unit, as well as the Travis County DA's office, was run by a gentleman named Ronnie Earl. And when Ronnie Earl has been questioned about how whether he was politically motivated or not, he would always say, well, I've prosecuted more Democrats than I have Republicans. That's true, but you know what they all have in common? They were all political enemies of Ronnie Earl. For instance, friends, before the state turned Republican, the state was divided into two political entities nonetheless. It was the conservative Democrats against the liberal Democrats. And so Ronnie Earl was a liberal Democrat, and what he did was he targeted conservative Democrats. And so one of the people he targeted was Gib Lewis. But then when he started targeting Republicans, first of all, he targeted Kay Bailey Hutchison, and he had indicted her. And then right up until the time the trial was going to start. The trial was going to start the very next day, and oops, well, you know what? I think we'll drop that case. And then he targeted, of course, the Republican congressman, Tom DeLay. Help me with that. Tom DeLay. And what Tom DeLay was indicted for was money laundering. Now, let me tell you how this money laundering occurred. And by the way, Ronnie Earl went through 3 grand juries before he was able to find one who would finally indict Tom DeLay. And he was indicted for money laundering, and here's the way it went. The Texas Republican Party of Texas, or it was run by or helping to be done by Tom DeLay at the time, they sent $180,000 to the RNC, and that $180,000 was corporate funds. So they sent that money to the RNC. The RNC was going to spend that for things that you could spend corporate money on. In turn, the RNC had collected $180,000 in individual contributions, which they then sent back to a group run by Tom DeLay. And in essence, he used that money for helping Republicans to get elected. The thing about it is the money was always kept separate. In other words, they never mingled the corporate funds and the individual contributions. And they used the corporate funds for what you could use corporate funds for, and they used the individual contributions for what you could use individual contributions for. And as an end result of that, Ronnie Earl somehow was able to get that Tom DeLay was involved in money laundering, is actually politically inspired, and eventually the charges were finally dismissed. The deal is that Tom DeLay probably had to spend about $1 million or $2 million defending himself against this prosecution by Ronnie Earl. Now, so for that reason, there have been a number of times that the conservatives down there said, we need to move the Public Integrity Unit from the Travis County DA's office to the Attorney General's office. The Attorney General prosecutes crimes as well. But we felt that there are people elected to the Travis County DA's office that would never be able to get a statewide office. In fact, a lot of people have heard that Travis County is the most liberal county in the state of Texas. And the end result is things happen there that'll never happen in any other county. What happened, though, was Rosemary Lindbergh, the Travis County DA at the time, was caught with a DUI, caught drunk driving. Now, friends, she wasn't just drunk. She was 3 times the legal limit drunk. And as an end result, when they stopped her, she started blistering the police officers and saying, do you know who I am?
Can we play the video?
Yeah, let's play the video, Josh. That would be good.
Screaming through the window. This is Travis County District Attorney Rosemary Lindbergh just moments after Travis County Sheriff's deputies arrested her for driving while intoxicated.
Turn your whole body.
The Travis County Sheriff's Department released this video. At first, deputies placed Lindbergh in isolation. However, after constant erratic behavior, the tone changes and she's placed in a restraint chair.
You know what you're doing? Yes, ma'am. We've asked you plenty of times to stop kicking the door, and you didn't stop kicking the door.
At one point, the judge comes in to Magistrate Lindbergh, who is uncooperative.
I went to a movie at Lakeway. I had a couple of glasses of wine.
How many movies serve alcohol?
And I wasn't driving erratically. And they pulled me over, and he said, it's not true.
Time and time again, she claims she's innocent.
I'm not a criminal. I wasn't drunk.
With glassy eyes, slurred speech, and at times looks of confusion, Lindbergh repeatedly asked for her phone.
Bring my phone.
As the belligerent behavior continues, jailers make the decision to put a mask on Lindbergh's head.
Don't film this.
They call that a
After
spit
few hours,
mask, folks,
they drew
to
Lindbergh's
keep her from
blood.
spitting
And
on
at
the
the
police
time, she was
officers.
unaware of the .232 blood alcohol content, 3 times the legal limit.
I'm not drunk. What is with y'all?
Tonight, Lindbergh is in jail, serving a 45-day sentence. In Austin, Christy Post, KITV News.
Now, so here it is, folks. That's what Rosemary Lindbergh was doing. And as an end result of that, the people of Travis County had lost confidence in her. The state had lost confidence in her because here she is, while she does operate the Travis County DA's office, the thing about it is she also operates the Public Integrity Unit for the state of Texas. So in the Texas Appropriations Bill, the Public Integrity Unit, now run by Rosemary Lindbergh, is given $7.5 million. The end result in this last budget, Rick Perry said, look, if you step down, we will leave the $7.5 million in the budget to fund the Public Integrity Unit. But if you do not step down, we will veto the funding for the Public Integrity Unit going to be run by Rosemary Lindbergh. At the same time, there were attempts by Republicans to transfer the Public Integrity Unit to the to the Attorney General's office. Now, here's the deal. The media has brought up one major point, and they said, well, there are 2 other DAs that were DUIs, and Rick Perry didn't care about them. No, Rick Perry didn't care about them. Do you know why, friends? They don't get, those other 2 DAs do not get $7.5 million from the state of Texas to run the Public Integrity Unit. Rosemary Lindbergh does. And here's the deal. The news media knows this, and yet they continue to bring that issue up. So, the fact of the matter is, Rick Perry was within his constitutional authority to do exactly as he did. Let me tell you, friends, if public officials can get indicted for going to people and saying, if you don't do this, I will not support your bill, every member of the legislature, both 150 members in the House and 31 members in the Senate, can be indicted for the exact same thing that Rick Perry was indicted for. So we have a situation here where, now, let me add one other thing. It's important to understand, why didn't the legislature simply move the Public Integrity Unit from the Travis County DA's office to the Attorney General's office? Well, I'll tell you why. 17 Republicans, along with all the Democrats, voted to keep it that way. And as an end result, guess what? It wasn't transferred. And it just so happened that the majority of those 17 Republicans happened to be the House leadership team, led by Charlie Guerin.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm looking at a list of it right here. And one of those people on that list is Diane Patrick. And so we won't have her there anymore to do that. But I think, Bill, I think this is important to point out. I think I understand why you had a hard time remembering off the top of your head what his name was. And that's because his name is Tom Delay.
Thank you, Josh. I thought it was because I'm old.
You got a built-in excuse right there.
That's right.
Let me ask you this. With this new 94th legislative session coming in, is this something that we can expect to see change?
Well, I think here's the thing. Obviously, the Democrats don't want to see it changed, because that gives them a great deal of power to have some, far left radical liberals running the Travis County DA's office and also running the Public Integrity Unit. That gives them immense power to target their political opponents, and they pretty well got to be only Republicans now. And so what it boils down to is that it all depends on whether we're going to continue to have Joe Straus as Speaker of the House, because if Joe Straus is Speaker, it'll probably remain right there. Now, here's the thing. A lot of times amendments can get on the floor and they have no control over that. But if we put enough heat on all the Republican members, as they always say, when they feel the heat, they see the light. And maybe we can get it done next time.
I certainly hope so. And if we get more people like Tony Tinderhole, whose area's precinct or district is adjoining to yours, then I think we're going to see a lot of those kind of changes here in the state.
You know what was amazing, Josh? There was a bill in the House that did this exact thing. It moved the Public Integrity Unit to the Attorney General's office. Mm-hmm. A lot of the people who were co-authors of that bill voted against it in the amendment. How about that?
Well, do you want to switch to the immigration thing now?
Let me tell you, friends, we got some great information from you because the Republican caucus got together and we were down in Austin, and one of the big issues that came up was the illegal immigration. And as you know, the governor has put, first of all, he's put more DPS officers on the border. The other thing is he's called up 1,000 members of the National Guard to put them on the border under its Operation Strong Safety. And here's the reason why. A lot of people say, well, what will they be able to do? Well, one of the things we believe they'll be able to do is alleviate some of the things that the border agents are doing because of this surge of undocumented minors. Unaccompanied minors. And the end result is that we've had the border agents really tied down with handling them, because these people don't try to escape. They come right up to the border agents and turn themselves in. But then the border agents have to process them. Well, one of the things that we found out was on the other side of the border, the Mexican side of the border, 100%, every inch of it, is controlled by the drug cartel. Nothing happens or goes on that side of the border without the drug cartel being involved. As an end result of that, not only are they helping many of these illegal immigrants get across, but they're also bringing all kinds of drugs across. They're also bringing, they're involved in sex trafficking, getting that across, as well as the fact there's a great concern about there being some involvement with the drug cartels of some of these terrorist groups, like either Hamas or ISIS or one of them. And so what we want to do is see to make sure that we can stop that. But because here's the thing, friends, a lot of people say, well, gee whiz, why don't all we do is eliminate the attraction for these illegal immigrants to come across? In other words, let's start requiring businesses to have E-Verify. I'm all in favor of that. I'm in favor of E-Verify. I'm in favor of eliminating in-state tuition for illegal aliens. The other thing is I'm in favor of no sanctuary cities, no sanctuary counties, no city or county that takes taxpayer-funded benefits from the state of Texas should be allowing amnesty for our sanctuary city or sanctuary county for those who are here illegally. But here's the other thing, my friends, let me tell you, because a lot of people say, well, if we just eliminate the benefits, because it's far worse than that. For instance, and one of the things that we've been doing in the state of Texas is that we've been tracking criminal illegal aliens. In other words, if you simply said those who are here illegally, and then what do they commit crimes when they're here illegally? The answer is yes. This has been going on since October 2008. In other words, they've been tracking this from October 2008 until August 1st, 2014. And here's what they've identified. In the state of Texas jails, we have booked 207,076 unique criminal alien defendants. And in other words, what they've done is they've identified 207,076 criminal illegal aliens that have broken the laws in addition to being here illegally. Those people have committed 652,979 individual criminal charges. Now, over they haven't just done it between October 2008 to August 1st, but over the span of the lifetime that they've been here illegally, they've created those crimes. That includes, listen to this, that includes 3,089 homicides and 8,070 sexual assaults. They've also been involved in the 28,000 burglaries. They've been involved in 1,113 kidnappings. They've been involved in 53,000 larcenies, and as well as 4,400 terrorist threats. And so, as you can see, these people have committed a number of crimes. There was a little girl in Parker County that was assaulted by a criminal illegal alien who had been deported 4 times. The people who murdered the Border Patrol agent who was on a vacation with his family down in South Texas, and he was murdered by 2 illegal aliens who had been deported numerous times. And so what we have here is instances where people who are getting across the border illegally who are committing all these crimes. That is why, my friends, We cannot simply eliminate the attraction. We must secure our borders. Now, here's the other thing, though. The other reason we must secure our borders is because of the terroristic threats. In fact, do you have that, Josh, where you have, let's show the one where we have the general who is in essence saying that he believes ISIS is already here. Do you have that? Okay, we don't have. Why don't you show the part where you have a terrorist who is saying, how do we have something even more dramatic than 9/11, where they tore down the 10 Twin Towers?
Before I show this, I just want to highlight what you just said. 4,400 terrorist threats. All it takes is one.
Exactly.
Here's the video.
Here's the video.
أربع أرطال من الأنثراكس، 4 أرطال، جنطة هالكبرها، يشيلها واحد فدائي ويدخلها من أنفاق مكسيكو إلى الولايات المتحدة، كفيلة بقتل 330 ألف أمريكي في ساعة واحدة، إذا أتقن نثرها على الوعاء السكاني هناك. مرعبة الفكرة. يعني 11 سبتمبر تطلع زلاطة عند الموضوع هذا. صح ولا لا؟
9/11 will be small change.
Exactly. What was the number that they estimated? It was over 300,000, right?
It was 330,000. That's one 4-pound case of anthrax. And
Exactly.
the general that we didn't get the video for, he said he doesn't believe it's going to be one city. He said it's going to be multiple cities.
Multiple cities this coming September the 11th. And basically what they're saying is, how are they getting across? They're getting across the southern border. One of the other people that you might look at is James Michael Lynch. And he has done a lot of documentaries on our lack of border securities. And what he's done is he basically went across the border, came back, and he drove an old truck. He put kind of makeup on to make him sure that he looked much more darker than he is in reality. And the end result is he came across. They'd never asked him for an ID. They never looked in his car. Nothing. In essence, what happened was he got all the way through, and what he did was he labeled a little container in his box with a hazardous sign on there. And the end result is he got through without anybody checking on him. And so this is the threat that we believe is problematic. The other thing is this. Many of these unaccompanied minors, we know for a fact that they're MS-13 gang members. And yet they're identifying themselves as minors. You know, friends, they're not asking these children or these unaccompanied minors to prove that they are minors. No, they just come here and they say they're 17, 15, or whatever they are. Doesn't matter whether they look like that or not. If they say they're that age, then basically they're processing them as if they are. Now, don't get me wrong. Nobody who's 30 years old is going to be able to do it, but certainly somebody who would be 21, 22, 23 years old could do that. And as an end result is they're allowing these people to not only come here and be identified as an unaccompanied minor, but the other thing is, friends, they are giving them an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, a sheet of paper that says they've been processed by ICE and then released. And then they can go anywhere in the continental United States that they want to. And when they fly on a plane anywhere in the continental United States, they simply show the security agent at the gate that 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper, and they will be allowed to get on the plane. You and I, we have to show a driver's license. All they have to do is hand them this sheet of paper. My friends, these sheets of paper could be easily copied. So therein let me tell you, what is going on at the border is absolutely insane. And there is no excuse for us delaying doing one thing: securing the border, period. Let me give you a couple other facts that have been going on. Because in 2013, the total ICE docket was 1,813,000. They were going to only deport 386,000 of that 1.8 million. But you know what percentage of the 1.8 million had been detained by ISIS? 2%. 2% of those had been retained. At the same period of time, there were 872,000 absconders. In other words, these were people who were told to show up. Oh, gee, I'm surprised. Can you believe that? I'm sure that everybody is surprised that we had that many people who were told to show up for a court hearing, an immigration court hearing, and guess what? They didn't show up. And you know what, my friends? Nobody is looking for them.
Mm-hmm. They can make it across the border, but they can't make it across the street.
Yeah, exactly. And so the other thing is this. At the same time, in 2012, the House Judiciary Committee, now this is nationwide, the House Judiciary Committee did a report, and they found that 26,000 criminal illegal aliens had been released by the Obama administration. Once those people had been released, they had committed, those 26,000 committed 58,000 crimes, including 59 murderers. So what we see is a huge immigration problem. My friends, there's one solution: enforce all immigration laws. Now, one of the things we talked about at the Republican State Convention was we had a battle going on. On the one hand, they had, we need the Texas solution. On the other hand, there were those of us that said, no, we don't need the Texas solution, because the Texas solution that was in the plank was this: that basically if you were here, you would be allowed to stay. Now, what happens when you give the message that if you're here, you will be allowed to stay? Well, let's just look at, in 2012, Barack Obama gave hundreds of thousands of illegal aliens amnesty. As soon as people in Central and South America heard that though they were given amnesty, that was one of the reasons why we saw this huge tidal wave, especially among unaccompanied minors. So, I'll give you the solution. First of all, 100% of the people who are violating the immigration laws will be retained, and then 100% of them will be returned. Now, let me ask you this, friends. A lot of people say that we're going to be hit with, oh, gee, that's not fair. Some of these people, they're just here for a job. They're just here to, and listen, I understand that. But let me ask you this. Let me ask you a question. What do we say to the millions of immigrants who are waiting in line to come here legally? If we say that if you've broken the immigration laws, you can stay, then what we were saying to those who are trying to do it legally, you are fools. You should have just gone ahead and broken the law. My friends, let me tell you, and as far as these unaccompanied minors are concerned, when they say, oh, gee, we can't send them back, my friends, there are 20 million in the countries where these unaccompanied minors have coming from. There are 20 million that are in the same exact situation as we think it's going to end up being 90,000 this year It'll be 180,000 next year. And you know what? If we allow them to stay, it'll be more than that. So, my friends, we need to do two things: enforce current immigration laws and secure our borders.
The answer to the Texas solution is the Zedler solution.
Thank you, Josh.
All right.
Hey, listen, y'all have a great day. We'll see you next week.